Hello everybody, this is Bitcoin Macro, and on this video guys I'm going to talk about ICON. So ICON is one of those decentralized aggregator networks with interoperability. It's just like, one of those networks that adds interoperability between networks so people can do smart contracts across different blockchains so that there can be transactions across different blockchains. And these are pretty cool because they have that unique feature that is missing from the base layer from some of those networks. Because let's say when you have a contract on Polkadot and a contract on Ethereum, how do these things connect? Okay, so there are a few networks like that. There is OneChain, there is Cosmos, there are other blockchains as well. I've seen several projects that are going on that have those features. But the reason I want to mention ICON is primarily because I really like the chart. Okay, so in this one I won't really go deep into the fundamentals because I just believe that essentially those layer 1 protocols, because ICON is essentially a layer 1 protocol to an extent, it's kind of like its own chain, its own blockchain, and it just connects other blockchains. So what matters the most to me is price chart and overall, let's say, its market cap and so on, because I do believe it's still kind of cheap for what it does and for where it's located, because it's one of the bigger projects in Korea. There has been a lot of attention on it, and I do believe it could do even better from here because it still hasn't had that explosive move. So in my opinion, it's still early for ICON, and that's what I wanted to mention. So if I just look back at ICON, the reason that I'm looking at the HitBTC chart is because I really like how it includes a little bit of extra history right here. Because if I look, let's say, on the Binance chart or some other chart, it would be missing those early days, because back then it was clearly very illiquid, so the price wasn't real, quote unquote. But to me it does matter for me to just track a little bit of the history of the cycle of this coin. So maybe I should say we have this little area right there which has been support and resistance time and time again. Now this has become support again, and we do slowly see that ICON has been forming this massive base. So it's been going sideways, at least from this point, since May of 2019. Clearly had a larger capitulation over there, but it has retested this point several times already. Now, of course, if I look at the linear chart and not the logarithmic chart that I had on, we've seen that the capitulation has been massive, 98%, which is pretty good, at least for most coins. Whenever we've seen those capitulations, usually those coins, either they go away completely or they just rise and rise. Now, I don't know if it's gonna make new all-time highs. It seems a little tough from here, but nothing is impossible right now because we have no idea how massive this bubble is going to become or how a specific project is going to react to different market conditions. So at the moment we've seen that it has had that little mini cycle. So on the full cycle of coming like all the way down back to where it started, and even going lower from where it started, and having that sort of divergence right here because it didn't have that wedge where it was going a little bit of sideways. Okay, so it was going like that and boom, breakout. Back then it was also listed on Kraken and some other exchanges as far as I remember, and I'm going to mention some of the listings fairly soon. But the most important thing right here is that it's about to break this resistance right there. So when we look, let's say, at this area right here, maybe you consider this one, or maybe even this one. But in my opinion, this one is a lot more important because these have been just wicks rather than just shadows of the candle rather than a big close. So not much of the price has traded up there. And now with another attempt, I do believe the breakout is going to be even bigger because the previous attempts were coming from much lower places. Whereas this time around, we've seen that the price has been testing this place many times, whereas before it hadn't really tested this area several times. And because it also had that mini little cycle right here, so it went up. It took a long time to get all the way back there. It took pretty much a year. Okay, almost a year, a bit less than a year, but it still was a pretty long time period where it was going sideways, then had that trap down there, swept the lows, the all-time lows, and now it's pushing higher again. Now, if I look at the Binance chart, you will notice there's not much of a difference, but the truth is that on the Binance chart, we don't really see that extra history that I mentioned before. But again, if we just break above those old lows, that's where essentially that was a low that I don't know if it matters a lot for Icon. That was when the bottom was put in right before the big bubble started in 2018 and 17. So once that resistance breaks, we do have that massive essentially double bottom pattern where it could just be pretty explosive, because I don't really see much resistance up until here. Okay, this is a resistance point, another resistance point. There are a few resistance points, some key breakdown levels, old support, or some old resistance levels like this one, but I don't really see them as that big of a problem. Now clearly we might see a little pump right there, and then a pullback down, and then much higher. So if I would just say the last few things about Icon and talk a little bit about the listings, because I did mention it's a Korean project, it does have a few listings right now. It is listed on Binance US, which really matters in my opinion, because sometimes, you know, some of the people in the US, they don't have many options. So their options are mostly on Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance US. So the ones that are listed, especially on both, let's say Kraken and Binance US, they have quite a bit of access to them. Okay, maybe they don't really trade them actively, but some of those people that don't just have a Binance account, or let's say they don't have illegal accounts abroad, they do have access to Icon. So in my opinion, that matters quite a bit. It's listed on Bithumb and Upbit. It's listed pretty much on most big exchanges: Warby, Crypto.com, OKX, Upbit, like I said, Bithumb, which are the two major Korean exchanges. So it's clear to me that it's a solid project. There are quite a few listings, so the price could go much higher. I don't know if it's gonna get listed on Coinbase. It is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know much about the policy for Coinbase at the moment. I don't remember if Icon is one of the projects that they have mentioned in the past. I don't know if they really plan to include them, because sometimes there are some issues with, let's say, how they raised money or what the project does exactly. Maybe they are afraid from security reasons, but I don't really see a major issue for why they shouldn't list Icon. But the problem then becomes there are so many projects to list that they are just a little bit more selective, because right now they don't even have Solana, they don't have Polkadot, and the process of listings right now seems a little bit more random. So I wouldn't want to say for a coin that I don't think it's very likely to be listed on Coinbase, that it will be listed on Coinbase. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you like this video. This was a shorter one. I'm gonna make quite a few shorter videos as well. So remember, like, subscribe, and share the video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like, if I missed anything. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Telegram, and you can follow me on TradingView as well, where I give short updates, I give quicker ideas, so you don't have to watch a whole video. Maybe you want to just watch a few quick setups rather than, you know, listen to me for 5, 10, 20 minutes. So once again, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.